It is possible that in one who is still fixed on the objective world, identified with the personality, children, spouse, money, vocation, and so on, it may be difficult for the energy to dissolve. It remains concentrated. That is why there are signals of various kinds which help dissolve the energy and aid the giving up of all hold on the phenomenal life. And it is why sometimes, though the body is not visible, there may still be residues of the personality. One should accept these and take several sessions to systematically empty oneself of all ideas, memories, and feelings for the dead person. It is a process of elimination. Then one sees that there is much more to the relationship than one could remember. Memory belongs to our minds, but the real relationship is not limited by memory. The problem of physical suffering during dying needs to be addressed because the question naturally arises as to how one can come to a real letting go in the face of acute pain. The first thing to clarify is that pain must be seen as an object like any other, from the perspective that what we are fundamentally is not an object and cannot be afraid or feel pain. So we must be absolutely clear about our profound non-involvement in the events surrounding the sensation we call pain or illness. We cannot say, I am afraid, I am in pain, I am dying, because the I is unchanged and unchanging. It is the body which feels sensation and the mind that creates fear. Once there is clarity about what one is not, the body and its sensations, the mind and its thoughts, the suffering is dramatically reduced. Then the sensation, the illness, can be faced squarely without psychological interference. Pain, like every object, is a pointer to our real nature. It must be seen objectively, in front of us, as if the body belonged to another. In objectifying it, we are extricated from it, no longer drowned in the illness, the sensation. And in the psychological space thus created, there will be a glimpse of real freedom from the burden. It is not enough to vaguely note this brief feeling of detachment. We must become truly interested in this feeling of freedom. That is, make it in turn an object of attention. Sustain and live in this free feeling. With it comes the conviction that one is neither the healthy nor the unhealthy body. Illness and death are an opportunity par excellence to clarify the fundamental error of our existence, that we have identified awareness or consciousness, life, with its object. And it is through this mistake that all conflict and suffering arise. Illness, then, is a gift to help us realize more quickly what we are not. It gives us an opportunity that should not be refused, to be what we are. Our living in wholeness stimulates our surroundings, our family and friends. I would say it stimulates the life in them. Knowingly or unknowingly, they share life with us, and at death, neither we nor they will feel isolated. This feeling of life will remain and continue to stimulate them because life is eternal and it is all oneness. But generally, family and friends do not have an honest relation with the dying one. They continue in some way to hold on to try to save the person. They do not let him or her meet the light. This is because relationships in the family are of object to object, person to person. So it is better not to have the family present at the moment of dying, if they cannot perform the last rites, be priests, so to speak, that is, die with you. It is important that the dying one offer up the expressions of life consciously. However, in certain circumstances, clarity may be impaired by the intensity of the pain or the use of medications to relieve it. At the very moment of the final release, nature usually takes itself in charge, and pain does not cloud awareness. So when assisting a dying person, a doctor has a great responsibility. First and foremost, he or she must represent health, life, and like the priest, prepare the patient for the final release. The doctor must also die with the patient. All his talent is needed to first help the patient distance himself from identifying with the object, and then to see precisely how much medication is necessary to make this distancing possible. The patient must retain a profound awareness of what is happening. Either prolonging life artificially or taking one's life prematurely is a deep lack of respect for all life has given us. It is a lack of gratitude, a profound ignorance. Life gives us the opportunity for a real birth, and all interfering is a refusal of this opportunity. When one wakes in the real I, the destiny of all that we are not no longer has any meaning. Pain, an accident, death is on the film, but we are the light which illuminates the film. So thinking about the fate of the body and trying to interfere is a mark of ego-centeredness and lack of love. Only an ego can have concepts and intentions. And as long as we live as the contracted ego, we will have a false view of what life is. What we generally call my life belongs only to the mind, and thus appears to take place in succession. The illusion of life as time gives us the impression that we can interfere. This wrong seeing is sometimes corrected before dying, when there is a panoramic memory of one's whole life. This is because there is a sudden letting go of the mind's control, of the channeling of one's being into strict succession in time and space. In this sudden letting go, we are ejected into the timeless, and facts appear to us without all the intervening thoughts that generally qualify every fact. This panorama usually occurs at a crisis when there is a very dramatic letting go. In a natural death, one is gently dissolved in being. Real death is then the death of conceptual living. Life is presence, always in the here and now, the moment itself. In the absence of the person idea, there is simply living, non-volitional acting. Non-volitional living is living in happiness. It is only in non-intentional living that there is acceptance. And it is only in accepting, in welcoming, that all the elements of a situation can be clearly seen. When we live in accepting, illness has no hold, no substance, and we have the greatest possibility of getting better. All the changes the body undergoes are hypothetical and transitional, but there is nothing hypothetical about what we really are, consciousness. It is prior to body. It is prior to thought. It is between two concepts or perceptions. It is silent awareness, nameless, without attribute. It is the total giving up of all qualifications, freedom from all identifications. It is the eternal presence we take for absence. When one lives knowingly in this presence, there is no death. Then, when you see the moment to go has come, and you have learned how, I would even say learn the technique of giving up, it is extremely beautiful. Dying then is thanking, a thanking for having had the opportunity to know life, to be the knowing, to be thanking itself. In the great forgetting of all that we are not, dying is the total release into openness, openness to the light.